This meeting is being recorded.
Maybe Thimmappayya, there are a lot of people here, and for those, Alauddin, he also knows both Thimmappayya and Krishnan. So we'll start with Shama Bhatt can lead for the Thimmappayya's memorial. It's not just a memorial. We want to celebrate the success of our friends. And then who did very well in their career. Okay, Shama Bhatt.
Okay, hello. Thank you, Subbarao.
So I will record the.
I have started recording already.
Okay, you started recording.
Okay, good morning, America, and good evening, India. We will start this. Have 10 people today. Those who have already informed that they will be talking about Professor Thimmappayya. I will start with an introduction, and then I will request other people one by one. Request each and everyone to introduce themselves briefly and then talk about. Okay. I feel sorry to host this memorial. I am feeling very sad that Dr. Thimmappayya is no more. We had a long and cordial relationship with him and
those
his
who
wife
are not
Rama.
speaking, please mute your this one if the background is coming.
And also, please restrict to a few minutes because we have a lot of people to talk today. Okay.
But let us cherish the memory of the association we all had with Dr. Thimmappayya. Dr. Thimmappayya passed away peacefully at home on December 26, 2024. He was 81. He was born and raised in India.
You got deep tonight and we're taking out the benefits, so we're really proud of you. Congratulations.
Somewhat, this one is echoing, that probably they should mute.
I think I have muted everybody. You can go ahead.
Okay. Hope you did not mute me.
No, you are on.
But okay. He was born and raised in India. It's very coincidence that Dr. Thimmappayya and myself are coming from the same taluka, that's Kasaragod. Now it's in Kerala. His brother B.S. Rao is a very famous physician, and my father used to visit him regularly whenever there was a need. He did all his schooling in India. He did his PhD degree from the Department of Biochemistry, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He pursued his lifelong devotion to science when he immigrated to the United States in 1975 to conduct his postdoctoral research at the Yale University School of Medicine and worked with Dr. Sherman Weissman. At Weissman's lab, he and others sequenced the simian virus 40. After 2 years, he changed his lab and worked for another 3 years at Thomas Schenk's lab at the University of Connecticut Health Center, Farmington. At UConn, he worked on adenovirus. In 1980, he joined the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at the Feinberg School of Medicine, Northwestern University, Chicago, where he was granted tenure. The focus of his research was how human adenovirus uses a virus-encoded small RNA in viral mRNA translation. He also studied the consequences of virus encoding E1A protein in a cell cycle. Over the course of his career, he was responsible for training many graduate students and postdocs. They would go on to lead research programs around the world. Thimmappayya retired as Professor Emeritus after 43 years of service in 2023. Intellectually curious by nature, he was an avid reader and took a keen interest in politics and current events. He is survived by his wife Rama of 47 years, 2 daughters, Asha and Deepa. I see Deepa is here. And
Both are
5,
here.
okay, thank you. And 5 grandchildren. Okay, now just I will try to give a brief account of our association. I want to say that our association because me and myself and my wife Sushila is also part of our association with the Thimmappayya and Rama. Thimmappayya's wife Rama and I were classmates at Purnaprajna College, Udupi, for our BSc degree. We used to correspond regularly, and one day she wrote saying that she is getting married to Dr. Thimmappayya of Indian Institute of Science. During that time, I heard about Thimmappayya, but I did not know much as he left before I joined. After the wedding, she joined Thimmappayya in the USA. After some time, I mentioned to her that I am looking for a postdoctoral fellowship and got offers from 3 places. At this time, she told Thimmappayya about my searching for a fellowship. Then he told her that in his department there is one vacancy, and if interested, I can apply. I applied and got the offer. I selected this offer over the other 3 offers as here I knew somebody like Rama. I applied for visa for me and my wife Sushila. On the day of visa interview, the consulate officer said that the joining date is too close, and if you get an extension, then only he will issue the visa. I sent the information to Thimmappayya by telegram as phone communication was not possible. He went to Professor Pfeiffer and requested him for an extension for the joining date. With the joining date extension, I was able to get the visa. On 6th May 1979, we landed in New York. Thimmappayya and Rama were there to receive us at the JFK airport and took us to their house. Next day, Thimmappayya took me to the microbiology department, and after the verification of the documents, we went to see Professor Pfeiffer. We went to see Professor Pfeiffer, where I spent more than 3.5 years. This is a picture taken in 1979 when we just landed to America. This is 382 LaSalle Street. Then Thimmappayya requested the office manager to give an advance of $500 for the initial expenses. During that time, as you all know, we can carry only $7 from India. Next, Thimmappayya and Rama helped us to settle down in New Britain by taking us around and helping to buy the immediately needed items. For a week, we stayed with them. Thimmappayya and Rama also arranged for an apartment near to their house. For almost 3 months, I traveled with him to work and back home. He used to work very late. He used to say, until you get your own car, we will leave a little early as your newlywed wife will be waiting for you. How considerate he was. We always remember both Rama and Thimmappayya for their help and generosity. We remember their support forever. Sorry to miss Thimmappayya. We pray God to give Rama and their daughters and grandchildren the strength to bear Thimmappayya's loss. Thank you. Ramesh?
Ramesh, you can stop sharing screen, Ramesh.
Yeah, I'm going to stay.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So next, shall we start with the next person?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I request Dr. Ramesh Bhatt to say a few words. He was one of his postdocs. And they are close to both Thimmappayya and Rama. I'm sorry. 1 minute. I request Rama to give a few words about Thimmappayya as a husband and as a father.
Oh, sorry.
Rama, you can start. Sorry.
Sorry, you put me on a spot. I'm not prepared for this.
No, you don't have to prepare anything, just say whatever you know.
We really, our family really miss him a lot now. He's such a great husband and a father. And he's a great scientist too. He was always working in the lab. I used to complain, then he said, this is the only way a foreigner can achieve something in this country. So he's a great scientist. And he trained a lot of graduate students, postdocs, and he really put all his heart in training them. He really wanted them to succeed in the real world. And he is really very proud of all his postdocs and the graduate students who really made it. And he is also very proud of his family, especially his 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. They really, I'm also so proud of them because they are a great support to me at this difficult time. And all of you, I want to thank especially Shambat for organizing this memorial. And also, I want to thank each and every one of you to attend this memorial and talk something good about him. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama. Now, I request Ramesh Bhatt to say a few words. Ramesh Bhatt and Kausalya, they were in Chicago, and Ramesh Bhatt was one of his postdocs. And both of them were very close to Rama and Thimmappayya. Ramesh, unmute.
Ramesh, you have to unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Ramesh Bhatt. I'm a retired scientist from Wyatt, now settled in Apple Valley, California. I was the first postdoc in Tim's lab. Actually, I got my MSc degree from Manipal. I was 2 years senior to Shambat. After my post-graduation, I joined the KMC as a lecturer, continued there for about 8 years. And meantime, I was working on my for my PhD under Pattabhiraman on protease inhibitors in biological fluid, totally a protein biochemist. In 1981, 3 things happened in my life. I could submit the thesis. I got married to Kausalya in June. In July or so, I got a letter from Shambat telling that there was an opportunity in Team's lab for a postdoc position. I took that, I seek that opportunity, and we landed in Chicago in December of 1981. Dr. Thimmappayya was working on adenovirus, in particularly on VAG, virus-associated RNA, the genes which are very critical for the virus growth. With the no working knowledge in the molecular biology or virology or even tissue culture, I entered Tim's lab. Tim was working very hard, a dedicated scientist, and that time he was working on the bench, and very patiently we worked both hand in hand, and I could acquire the expertise in a very short time and started working independently under his guidance and watch. He's a great scientist, great teacher, and, moreover, a marvelous mentor. He taught me all the techniques that's needed, supported all along. And as a mentor, he was an excellent. I recall an instance where we were generating a target-specific mutant in the VA gene, and the idea is to put two fragments of the VA gene together, a three-step process. I came up with a new idea of doing a three-fragment ligation, a one-step process. Tim was very skeptical in the beginning, but the following day he came and challenged me that if I could finish the work within a week, I can go ahead and do that process. Otherwise, I have to go with the routine way of three-step process. Fortunately, I was successful in my mission, and thereafter he always encouraged me to think and execute new ideas and new ways to tackle the issues in a very in every aspect of the work. As a mentor, he had extraordinary ability to see potential and encourage me and push boundaries and strive for excellence, a true nature of a great mentor. Now, as far as the work is concerned, two things happened. One is we looked at the structure of the vRNA that's required for its function, and we generated several recombinant adenoviruses with the mutations in the VA genes and show that many of these mutants grew, many of these adenoviruses grew very poorly, signifying the importance of that particular region. In a second approach, we replaced the VA genes with a Epstein-Barr virus coded RNA VA gene in the adenovirus, and this virus could complement the function of VA. They grew fairly well, suggesting that one can replace with a gene from a totally different virus. Tim was very excited about this particular work, and he wanted to publish this paper in PNAS. He approached Dr. David Shamin, who was a Nobel laureate. At that time, he was the director of Cancer Center, and he told Tim that he cares the quality. He will help only if high quality research is there. So he sent the papers to two well-known scientists, Phil Sharp and Arne Levine, and both of them had a high appreciation for the work, and this paper went into PNAS as it is. Tim was very successful in getting his NIH grant renewed with very high score. So Tim was more than a mentor for me. He was a source of inspiration and guidance. He took very genuine interest in my personal and professional growth, and particularly, I joined him with a study leave of 3 years from the medical school, and he supported wholeheartedly my desire to opt for research career in US, and he not only gave me a golden opportunity to do research, but also set a clear path in my scientific career. After 5 years, I moved on to UCSF for 2 years to work on HIV, hepatitis B, and C viruses. Then joined Bayar Pharmaceutical and worked for about 25 years. During this my research career, I extensively used adenovirus as a tool to develop very reliable drug screening assays to deliver siRNA, and notably for delivering specific genes in primary itself. All these days, all these years, reminded me of good days of working with adenovirus in Tim's lab. We are, myself and Kausalya are very grateful to both Thimmappayya and Rama for taking care of us throughout our stay at Chicago, and treating us like family members. When we came to Chicago, we couldn't get the apartment since it was Christmas holidays. Had to stay with them for a week or so. Then we lived across the street on North Sheldon Road, and I used to tag with Tim, meet him in the garage at 5:45 exactly early morning, and we used to drive together. He used to drive and be in the lab by 6:30. Has been a routine for a long time till he moved to a new house in Forest Lake. On the way back,
6:30. That Ramesh, but you said 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, we used to meet in the garage at 5:45, and we'll be in the lab by 6:30. So that has been routine for a long time.
Not when you were there, Kumar.
And once he moved to Forest Lake, and then I used to take 147 express bus early morning. So they have been very helpful for us, and treated like family. And we being alone without any family members, that has been a great source for us throughout our stay. And particularly Kausalya, we are newly wedded, just came here, and she got she used to hang out with Rama, and if I'm right, Asha was a small child at that time, and they used to have a good time together. Actually, this has helped me a lot because I didn't have to think about her, and dedicated my time exclusively for research activity in the lab. So Tim not only gave me an opportunity to work, but he set a clear path in my scientific career. Took care of us very well in Chicago, and we everything what we are today for the help that they have rendered to us. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh.
And
now
I should
I
also
request
thank Shanbat for connecting me with Tim and Rama. So we could continue to
okay, Ramesh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ramesh. And now we'll move on to Professor Somasundaram.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shyama. Many of you may not know, only people whom I know in the screen. Shyama Bhatt himself spoke to me a couple of weeks ago. Previously, I heard about you, sir, but I seeing you now only. And of course, in the screen, I can see Rama and Deepa and Asha. I have seen them when I was there in the lab, small kids. And Manohar and Chitra, of course, I know them well. For the benefit of all the other people in the online here, I am Kumar Somasundaram, right now working as a professor in microbiology and cell biology department in IISc Bangalore. So my association with the team is actually I worked as a postdoc for 2 years, April 93 to June 95. I would say those 2 years was a great time. I learned a lot. I remember the lab was in Alson Pavilion, 8th floor, in one corner, diagonally opposite to the entrance, the lift through which we go to the 8th floor. We just have to diagonally go to the other end of the building. And my contemporaries, the people who worked when I was there as a postdoc, were Swaminathan, Pavan, Arshad. With Arshad, I have don't have contact at all, but Swaminathan and Pavan, they are in India. I continue to be in touch with them. Professor G. Jayaraman, who unfortunately passed away. 2 graduate students, Anne Buckman and Leonard Anderson, were there. These are contemporaries during my time in Tim's lab. So when I joined in 93, I'll make it short because many people want to stay. Tim made me to work on viral oncology, adenovirus oncology in UNA. Until then, as Dr. Shama Bhatt said, it was, sorry, Dr. Ramesh Pet said, the lab has been working on virus-associated RNA. I think Chitra and Manohar also worked on VARNA. And it's a time when I joined, they changed the subject a little bit. And although it is still related to adenovirus, I started working on UNA. And that work on UNA brought the lab to another celebratory molecule, P300, which is a UNA associated protein. That's how it was identified then. But now we know the P300 is unbelievably remarkable protein, very famous protein. It's a histone acetyltransferase and plays an important role in transcription. And for me, when I started working on this UNA, it was very tough for me because my PhD was in prokaryotic biology. It took such a long time for me to understand eukaryotic molecular biology and also virology. Several months it took for me to understand the concepts and also update my knowledge on eukaryotic biology and virology. And I used to have a lot of doubts. Tim was always kind enough to sit with me to clarify my doubts. Because when I read those papers related to adenovirus UNA, the initial stage papers where how UNA was discovered and it transforms along with cells along with the UNB, all those papers when I used to read, he used to sit with me and clear all those doubts. Tim was always kind enough he never, he would have been as Ramesh but said that they used to come at 6:30. When we were all there, we used to go only at 8 o'clock. And I'm sure, he would have been really, like I have joined as a postdoc and for a few months, I'm just still reading, trying to understand what is UNA. And yet he never showed any difference with me. And he was very kind enough to make me understand everything. I remember we used to even sit together and read some of those very early papers of UNA and figure after figure and methods, interpretations, etc. In addition to being a postdoc mentor for me, he was probably one of the good teachers I have seen in my studies all through from school to college. So P300 was introduced to the lab through that work. And after I left the Tim's lab continued to work on P300. I just checked PubMed. He has about more than 12 papers related to P300 and also chromatin biology. He hopped on to that. Several papers related to chromatin regulation of translation, chromatin level regulation of transcription he studied. And also I did some little bit homework at Tim's papers. There are about 90 papers I could see in PubMed. And Thimmappayya used his name, the letter middle P is sometimes used as 2 P's and some other time is only 1 P was used. I think the earlier time, up to 1990, used Thimmappayya, PP was used. And then afterwards, around 90 onwards, it is Thimmappayya, only 1 P was used. Totally around 90 papers were there. And when I was working and also the other people, he always used to encourage us to present our work in meetings. Okay, we used to have this virology laboratory meetings. Those who are working in virology, we used to have one lab in a few months, once we used to meet, and a couple of them used to present, and also microbiology, immunology department retreat meetings, nearby place we used to go, usually 1-2 days, something like that. And also Cold Spring Harbor laboratory meetings are always a very nice thing. He used to take the whole lab, and Kathy Rundle was another colleague nearby. Her lab was there. Their lab people also used to come. They also used to work on cell cycle regulation. It used to be really a fun and lot of learning, and I could never forget that. And of course, during my here in my stay, and right now in Bangalore, Tim has visited a couple of times IISc, and he gave a talk in MCP department. In 2015, I remember I organized a small get-together here when Rama and Thimmappayya was visiting India. I requested them to come to IISc. We had some kind of a small gathering, and where I invited postdocs to work with the Tim, who are right now in India. The people who attended were Swaminathan, Pavan, Sudhagar, Gopal, Ravi Kumar, and Navaraj. All these people attended. We had a half a day get together, and I have some photographs. If you allow me, I can show you. So anyway, to end this opportunity, Tim is not with us today. It's indeed a great loss for me. But however, whatever he taught us will always be there. So thank you. So can I just show a couple of images? Is it fine with the 2015 get together? Rama, I'm sure you will be able to remember that.
Yes, Kumar, you can share the screen.
Yes, I will do that. Okay, can you guys see this photograph?
Not, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
now we can see.
Yes. So this is a photograph taken after the meeting. We were just coming out in front of the biological science building. It was taken. Rama and Thimmappayya was there. This was 2015. 2015. We were talking about some 10 years ago. And this is me. And Sudhagar was another postdoc who joined afterwards. He's a professor in Pondicherry University right now. And I'll just move very quickly. And this is Gopal Bhatt, who is in Manipal right now. I think he probably shared some time with Professor Ramesh Bhatt, I guess, and he must be knowing. And this is Sudhagar's wife and his son. And Swaminathan, Ravi Kumar, and Navaraj. And these are some things we did honored him with some Mysore Peta and sandalwood garland. And this is Pavan. We also gave a nice shawl to him and also to Rama, I guess. And yeah, yes, all of us were standing behind him. Yeah, just another last photo. This is another nice memento I gave to him. So these are the people who attended that meeting in 2015. Is that Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, you were young?
Yes. Yeah.
And I do remember Chitra and Manohar sent me some photographs at their time and some writings. I read it out during that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Somasundaram, for the memories and sharing the pictures. Now I request Dr. Manohar to say a few words.
You have to mute. Okay.
Yeah, I did unmute. So I'm Manohar Furtado. I currently run a company called Biology for Global Good. I'm a consultant for biotech and pharmaceuticals, but I started off in Tim's lab as far back as I think 1986. First of all, I'd like to extend my condolences again to Rama and Asha and Deepa. I was lucky enough to be able to manage to go attend the funeral in Chicago. So, and I got a chance to actually see all the ceremonies. We also had some talks. I mean, I did talk, but also Kathy Rundell and a few other people from the microbiology department and some of his friends who gave talks. I think a lot of what I would say has already been said by Ramesh and by Kumar in terms of the personal interactions, ability to go stay in his house for a few weeks when we come. So he was always very kind and courteous in that manner, that he would take care of us when we landed. Obviously, Shama said $7 when he came. I could bring $20 because it was a few years later. But then you always had to get some money and some initial support, and he was always good with that. And I second whatever Kumar said in terms of having learned a lot of molecular biology projects in there. I worked mostly on the VARNA project early days, but we also worked on the other project, which was a protein transcription factor called E2F that was important in initiating certain processes in adenovirus infection. Following Tim's lab, he supported me in my other jobs that I moved. I got a job there as a research assistant professor initially for a few years. And then after that, Tim supported me. So I got a tenure track assistant professor position at Northwestern, where I was there till about 2000. I'm also the director for the biotechnology lab. And in 2000, I got an excellent offer from Applied Biosystems, which was a sequencing company. And obviously, I need letters of support. And Tim was always gracious enough to give us and support us through our careers. So I was there at ABI. I think many of you know it. It's a famous sequencing company till about 2012, and rose to the level of vice president of R&D. After that, I worked at a number of companies, Danaher, Bayar, Cepheid. I've been rolling around for 2 years in different biotech companies. Now I'm consulting, but I always remember the early days in Tim's lab where we actually learned a lot of things. And Kumar, by the time I came, we'd only get into the lab at 7:30. You were getting in at 8, and Ramesh was getting in at 6:30. But a few years later, I think Tim got his tenure, and I was there when he got his tenure. And that's when he started relaxing a little bit, because that was one of his main goals, and he was very focused on the publications and getting them out so it would work towards his tenure as well. And it also helped us all because we all got several publications there in good journals, like PNAS and obviously Journal of Virology, and that has helped us in our career all through. So with that, I think I'd thank you all for the opportunity to talk, and I'll hand it over back to Shama.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Shama,
Yes.
Yeah, Shama, since
Yeah.
because of the time and there are people from India who are waiting,
Yeah.
those who know both Krishnan and Thimmappayya,
Yeah.
can we just ask them to talk so that they can go to bed soon?
Yeah, I request. Okay. What I will do is I request all of them to restrict maybe 5 minutes or so that it will not be too long.
But still, I think it's going to take a long time because Krishnan's wife is there in India. Kalyan Raman is there from India. Okay. And it's going to get very late for them. So that's why I thought, we can just move on and then come back to, Thimmappayya's friends also.
Okay. All right. It's okay with me.
Okay, because it's already 40 minutes now, and it's going to take at least more than 45 minutes or more than that. So because we have so many people to talk here now. So let's go move on to, Sankaran, Kalyan Raman, any of you? Are you there? You have to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Is Sankaran there? Let him go first. Yeah.
Yes, Sankaran.
I don't see Sankaran. Maybe Kumar.
Okay.
Kalyan Raman, you should start probably.
And you can also ask Krishna's wife to say a few words if you like.
Okay, that's a good idea.
She's also muted.
Hello, this is Ben Natrajan. I wanted to convey that Mrs. Lakshmi Krishnan doesn't want to say anything right now.
Okay.
Okay, Kalyan Raman, you go ahead.
Well, unlike, all other people who spoke about, Thimmappayya, I'm not, associated in any scientific collaboration with Krishnan. But I have known him. Just to say a little bit about myself, he joined, I think, in 1966. I joined in 1967, IISc Biochemistry Department. And then he worked with Apaj Rao. I worked with Dr. Mahadevan. And then we were, fortunately, he went to NIH, and after a couple of years in St. Louis, I also wound up at NIH. And we have been living in the same place for the last 50 years or so, very close to each other. We were in communication by either in person or in those days, no email, but, by phone. And, we had continuously in touch with each other. And as you know, Krishnan, came as a postdoc to Dr. Krishna's lab, at NIH, and subsequently he moved over to the administration, has worked there in different capacities, till he retired, I think, around 2015 or 2016 or something like that. And just to say a little bit, since everybody, I don't know how many people know of me, but, even though I started in plant biochemistry, I wound up, working on human retroviruses, their identification, characterization, and eventually on vaccine development throughout my career. So, hello?
Yeah.
Oh, so all of you, who spoke about Thimmappayya were always talking about, their scientific collaboration, and also, how they have achieved, different, honors, and, progressed in their scientific career. But I just want to touch upon something which is totally different, which is not science. We should all think about, especially people like me and a lot of my contemporaries who are in their 80s, should think about what life is all about. I have been in touch, as I said, with Krishnan for a very long time, and I'm probably the last person who spoke to him before his, premature, passing away. And we're in touch with all the time. But in the last 10 years after our retirement, myself, Sankaran, and Krishnan were very close. We used to go out for lunch and talk about the old days and whatever that was going on in the study sections. And me, of course, I was involved in a lot of controversial things. So we used to joke about, because it's easy. Everything looks very big at the time it happened, but after a decade or two, when you look back, they look trivial. So everything goes into place, and we all used to talk about it. But I just want to touch upon one subject which we don't even talk about: what we want to do after our scientific career. That's what, unfortunately, myself and Krishnan were on the same trajectory for the last 10 years till his death, on exactly the same thing, what we should do. And I think, I just want to tell you ahead of time, we should not only just think about, what we have achieved and what we would like to achieve in science, but we should also think about what is going to make us happy at the end of our lives. Lots of times we try to postpone, saying that, I don't have time for this. I can, I always will have time after retirement. But after I heard, Krishnan's, sudden passing away, I told myself that is something which all of us should focus. And I want to refocus myself on that. Just to recapitulate of my association in the last 10 years with Krishnan, both of us don't have children, and both of us wanted to move to India. And we came from Tamil Nadu, and eventually both of us, were going for extended vacations to Chennai for a long time. and we were just talking about it. And both of us, since we did not have children, we wanted to spend our last few years with our families. I just want to emphasize that is what most of us would like to do, spend our waning years with our families. So in the last 5 years, both of us were in exactly on the same trajectory. We were planning on going to India. He bought a 3-bedroom flat right in Chennai. And, even though my family has been there in Chennai for over 100 years, but, I bought a flat in a slightly better climate-wise place called Coimbatore in a senior living community. And his flat was completed about 2 to 3 years back, I guess. And whenever I talk, constantly we're just talking about it. He said, I will just move, I will just move, I will just move. But, here I have a few things to take care of. I have 2 houses, I've had to sell them, I'm trying to fix it and all those things. And, in my case, I also visited India with my family for every year. And my flat, since even though we came to Chennai at the same time in December, I came here in Coimbatore to see how I will fit in with the whole environment over here, after all having lived in US for over 50 years, whether I will really fit in with the people, with myself, with the surroundings, with the food and all those things. And
I think
sorry, I'll finish in a few minutes.
Yeah, you have to finish soon because we don't have that much time here. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
So what I wanted to tell you was that, you see, both of us left for India at the same time, few weeks difference in December. When I last talked to him, he said, he would like to go. He would like to go there within the next 8 months. He will finish it. He said as soon as he is done. And then I'm also thinking of leaving in about a couple of years or so. But suddenly, I got a text from his wife that Krishnan has passed away. Then it reminded me that, we all think that we have plenty of time in our life. Whatever things you have prioritized for after science work, please do it as soon as possible, because tomorrow may never come. And that is a take-home message of my association with Krishnan. Thank you.
Thanks, Kalyan Raman. It was a good thing to say because we are all reaching the stage of reaching 80s now. So I would like to ask Sankaran and Alauddin to say briefly, because we have to go back and then there are a lot more people to, talk about Thimmappayya also. So please, Sankaran, you want to say a few words? So we're all in mid-80s now, Sankaran. Are you there, Sankaran?
I don't see Shankaran.
No, Sankaran is not there yet.
Okay, Alauddin.
Yeah.
Alauddin knows both Thimmappayya and, Krishnan very well.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, Subbarao. Anyway, I'm Alauddin. I left microbiology and cell biology laboratory and joined Yale University as a postdoc in 1971. I was very sorry to hear last month that Thimmappayya passed away. So Dr. Thimmappayya and I overlapped at Yale University for a few years, and he joined Dr. Sherman Weissman's lab as a postdoc, and I was working in Dr. Dieter Sahl's lab as a postdoc. The commonality between them, between us, besides the alumni from Indian Institute of Science, we both worked on nucleic acids, sequence, structure and function relationship. I was working on transfer RNA sequence, and Dr. Thimmappayya was working on, I believe, SV40 DNA in Dr. Sherman Weissman's lab. And Dr. Kane Subramanian, who you may hear a little later, was senior in that Dr. Sherman Weissman's lab to Dr. Thimmappayya by a few years. And I'm sure Dr. Kane Subramanian has a lot to say about it later on. But I will make it very brief. I always remember Thimmappayya as a very calm and very thoughtful person. He speaks softly, but very thoughtful and very measured ways of saying things. That's what I remember. Very homely and a nice person. Even after he moved from Yale University to Farmington, University of Connecticut, I believe, to work with Dr. Tom Schenk, we kept in touch, and we used to visit him and his wife, Rama. I remember those days very vividly. So in addition, while we were at Yale University, we used to attend the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory Symposium. It's a very prestigious symposia every year, and it is very hard to get attendance, admission to the attendance. So we both attended those, and there also we used to interact very well. Anyway, I am very sorry, and my condolences to Rama and his family. And to be brief, and I'll stop right here.
Thank you, Alauddin. And Sankaran is back. I think he is unmute, Sankaran. Can you unmute?
I don't see Shankar.
Yeah, I can see him.
560012.
Yeah, 560012. Hey,
Shankar, you have to unmute.
When people
He's
think
probably
we can
figuring out how to unmute.
Incidentally, 560012 is the PIN code for IISc region in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Sakri is not there, I guess.
Hey, Sankaran is not able to unmute. I think he's getting old. He's already old.
Okay. Well, Shankaran figuring out, can we ask Chitra to say a few words about our association with Rama, with Thimmappayya?
Sure, I'll try to be brief. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
We can hear.
I joined Tim in the summer of 1987, and I remember that running into our colleagues in the Rundle lab and Noel Baug's lab. I mentioned that it was, they were mentioning to me what a beautiful day it is. And to me, it didn't make sense because that was a day typical of any day in India in summer, spring. And when I mentioned that to Tim, he said, oh, wait till fall is here and then winter, saying that it's going to get cold and then going to get colder. So it was interesting how, he basically let me join his lab. And this was because I was dating Manohar at that time, and Manohar was working on the VA project. My only request to him was I be put on a project that was different from what Manohar was working on. And this, he did. And through the years, people have spoken all about his intellectual, abilities, his hardworking nature, his dedication, his passion. It was all evident to us through the time we were with him. And also this legacy of postdocs that went through his lab. Just looking at the materials in the fridge, you could tell, you would read the names of all the previous postdocs, and that was what he did. He set this chain of postdoctoral fellows in his lab that really helped train the next person who came into the lab, and that really helped us all do the best we could. And, those early days set the foundations for molecular virology, microbiology, oncology also, because we were in the cancer center. And speaking of that, I just ran into Steve Rosen a couple of weeks ago, and he was also really shocked to hear about Tim's demise, but was also remembering with gratitude all the accolades he brought to the cancer center, the comprehensive Robert Lurie Cancer Center at Chicago. And that was what Tim was. He really did a lot towards getting he basically got attention to the lab's work through the publications that went through his lab, the grants that he got. He was well respected in the field of molecular virology. So essentially, speaking just of something personal, we got married while we were in Thimmappayya's lab, Manohar and I, and he and Rama were so gracious. Okay. They took us out for dinner that night because we were postdocs. We didn't make much, couldn't do much, but he was very gracious. Rama was gracious. We totally are so grateful for him to have taken such good care of us. This is both professionally as well as personally, so much so that when I'm right now working at Roche Diagnostics, heading up R&D here at Solana Beach at a near patient care point of care group, a company that we acquired. But what I wanted to mention was when we launched the first commercial test for SARS-CoV-2 detection in 2020, March 13th, we were the first company to do that. And I was so excited and proud that my research team was part of that. So I called him and talked to him, and he was so proud and excited about it. So that was what he was. He always kept in touch through the years. We visited him when we went to Chicago, and Mano and I have really been so grateful for all the learnings that we've had in his lab.
Okay.
And we continue to really celebrate his life and the memories of those early years. But he leaves behind a lifetime full of achievements, something to be so proud of. I'm so glad to see Rama, Asha, and Thimmappayya. You should be so proud of your dad and all that he's contributed to the field of virology. And through the years, he has impacted so many of us in multiple ways. Really thankful for that, and so glad that we are celebrating his life here today. With that, I'll stop.
Thank you, Chitra. I think Sankaran is unmuted. He was able to talk, I think. Sankaran?
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Subarao. I knew Krishnan from 1976. Am I right? 1966.
66.
Yeah,
1966.
yes, 1 year junior to me. I am a student of PL Rao. Most of you may not know him. And I knew Krishnan when I came to NIH. We were in the intramural division. Kalyan Raman covered his work, and he used to be the executive secretary, scientific review officer for metabolism study section, which he very nicely conducted, and it reviewed a lot of metabolism related grants. Investigator initiated grants were very well done, and he was very well respected by the outside community as well as the institutes where he used to come at the council meeting to clear the questions raised about any applications in the review. In all, everybody liked him very much. And as Kalyan Raman was mentioning, we used to go for lunch and after we retired, and it was a shock to hear that he passed away. He was a good man, good scientist, and good review administrator. He knew a lot of the grants, and he was able to talk about various aspects of his review systems. In all, he was a great guy, and I was very sorry to hear that he passed away. Thank you.
Thank you, Sankaran. Thank you. Shama, but you can take over and then we have lined up the people, right?
Okay, thank you, Subbarao. Now, Dr. Chitra will say a few words.
Chitra already said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Salim Khan now, Dr. Salim Khan.
Well, hello everyone. First of all, my condolences to Rama and Asha and Deepa and rest of Thimmappayya's family. Of course, I'm going to give a quick but different perspective. I and Thimmappayya almost completely overlapped in Bangalore from 70 to 75. And we moved to US about a month apart. Thimmappayya went to Yale and I went to New York City. What I really want to say about Thimmappayya is that, he was very kind and gentle. And, it's easy to be that at this age, but we were all in our 20s and he was really kind and gentle at that time. And I see some faces here. So we were in 3 different labs, Jacob, Chorail, and Padiyati. We used to call it Malayalular biology. And I see Suraj here, I see Sushil, I see Srivatsan. And so we all kind of used to hang out together. And I recall, jokingly, we used to call Thimmappayya the old man because he was so kind and gentle. We were all young and we didn't care, but he was like the calming force behind all of this. And we pretty much hung out every single day together, going to cafeteria, walking out, going to MG Road, going to Commercial Street and having a beer, coming back, and the cycle repeats again. So it was great to be associated with him. And then moving back to US, I recall meeting Rama, of course, many times, when they were all Yale and would get together either in New Haven or in New York City. And I also, of course, I also worked in DNA tumor virus field. So I also will meet Tim at many different conferences on DNA tumor viruses in Italy and many of the places that we shared. But I remember him from the day one that I met him as a kind and gentle person. I'm not going to talk about science, you have already heard, but I sort of greatly miss him. I saw him a couple of years ago at another conference, and I was, when you're at the end of your career, he was still attending conferences and, contributing to science. So I really appreciate Tim and again, his family, and I'm really grateful to have been associated with him. So, and thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Salim. And now I request Professor V. Sitaramam. He's my senior at Professor Ramsharma's lab, but we just overlapped just, I think, for a few months or a year.
Hello.
Sitaramam,
Hear
yes.
me?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling me in, Shama.
Thank you.
And I do recognize a few faces. With age, all of us have changed our faces. Reddy, Suraj Bhatt, quite a few people. Thimmappayya and I were overlapped at the Institute of Science. And then when I went to Yale for my postdoc, I had Parani to receive me at New York, and he drove me down to New Haven, and I was a house guest for Thimmappayya and Krishna Kalgatgi for a couple of days. I should be very clear that I know nothing about his work, and he knew nothing about my work, because I wasn't even I don't even have a science background. I came from medicine to biochemistry. So we were friends, and I just want to give my condolences to Thimmappayya's family, whom I never met. But Thimmappayya was a good friend at Yale. We met often for a lunch or something. And the last I have seen him was some 25, 30 years ago on the institute campus. I don't know the occasion. I don't know how we met, but we spent about half hour chatting on the lawns of Institute of Science. And with that, I close. Mostly, I don't have anything further to add other than to say that had we met again, would have continued to remain good friends. I'm sorry he has gone away. My deep regrets.
Thank you, Professor Sitaraman. Next in our list is Shashidhar Rao, Dr. Shashidhar Rao.
You have to unmute. Shashidhar Rao. I think he's not there.
He said he's going to be there.
He said he's going to be there. Yes, he told me too,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, Shashidhara is there. That's I think he's there.
He's
you can
there,
see
but
his,
Yeah, Shashidhara is there. Yeah.
I think he has to unmute and yeah.
He didn't unmute yet.
Okay. So we can wait for him to come back. We can go to the next.
Okay, next one will be Dr. K.N. Subramanian. He is visiting India and he is in Chennai now. I think he will. Hello.
Do you hear
me? You have to unmute. Subramaniam, you have to unmute.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
It's unmuted now. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually, with my wife, we are at Coimbatore, temporarily staying in a retirement community. And we live in Chicago. And I have known Dr. Thimmappayya for many, many years. I think it's about 50 years. And like Dr. Alauddin mentioned, we were both colleagues as postdocs in Dr. Sherman Weissman's lab in Yale. And after that, in 1976, I believe, I moved to the University of Illinois at Chicago College of Medicine, Department of Microbiology. I got a faculty position there. So, and then he moved on to Dr. Tom Schenk's lab, so, but we still kept in touch quite a bit. And the position opened up in the Northwestern University School of Medicine, Department of Microbiology, and Dr. Kathleen Rundell informed me about that. And then I spoke with Dr. Thimmappayya and asked him to apply, and he came and gave his seminar, and he really impressed everyone and got the position there. So, and he also lived in Oak Park, just like Lakshmi and myself and our kids did, and we know their family so well, and they know our family also, and we attended their daughter's wedding, and they attended our daughter's wedding also. So, and we had more connection when they both lived in Oak Park, and after they moved to Lake Forest, the connection became less, but I still used to him, and yeah. Are you or no? Okay, yeah. So we have we maintained our connections, and then most recently I came to know from Dr. Prasanna about the health situation of Dr. Thimmappayya, and I contacted him, and Lakshmi and myself went to see him at the house in Lake Forest, and we met with Thimmappayya and also with Rama, and we had a really good meeting and discussed some all the things that we used to discuss before, and many reminisced about the old times and everything. And so he, and then at the time we left, this is back 2024, and then we left with Lakshmi, and my wife Lakshmi and I, we both left with the feeling that he's going to make it. And on December 10th, we left for this India trip, and we were in Chennai and then Coimbatore, and somehow I did not get the information that he passed away. It was only yesterday I came to know about it. I think Rama informed by forwarding the old emails, and we were very shocked to hear that. So we were very shocked and saddened, and our heartfelt condolences to Rama, Asha, and Deepa, and my wife Lakshmi says to ask me to express her condolences, and so did our children Uma, Radhika, and Anand. So they all know Asha and Deepa very well, so they all wanted to tell me that they're also very sorry to hear, very sad to hear about his passing. He's a great scientist, a great researcher, and a great friend of mine. And I remember all the wonderful discussions we have had in meetings we used to attend in Cold Spring Harbor and Cambridge, and things like that, the DNA tumor virus meetings, for many years. And I will remember, I'll cherish all the memories I had with him. And once again, our deep heartfelt condolences to Thimmappayya family, to Rama, Asha.
Thank you, Professor Subramaniam. Now, can we go back to Shashidhar Rao if he's available?
One other thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I was a graduate student at the Indian Institute of Science, I knew Dr. Krishnan also, and but I did not keep in touch with him so much afterwards. But I used to inquire with Dr. Sankaran about Krishnan and things like that. I want to express our condolences to Krishnan's family also.
Thank you. Shashidhar Rao, are you there? I think he's not there. So let's ask, since Deepa and Asha are here, if they want to say a few words about their dad. Yeah, please unmute yourself. Asha, Deepa.
Hi. Oh, go ahead, Deepa. No, I want to just thank you all for joining this. I think for Asha and me, it's so wonderful to hear all these memories. You know, we were raised in a house that was so focused on science, and my dad's research was so important to him and was such a big part of his identity. And so it's wonderful to be able to kind of hear these memories. I think as Asha and I reflect on our dad's legacy, one of the things we really remember is, you know, we grew up in a house where not just education, but intellectual curiosity was very much encouraged. And, you know, we just have such fond memories of conversations with our father. We unfortunately did not pursue science, but, you know, conversations about politics, environmental change, I mean, you name it. And so we carry that with us, and we hope to instill that in our children as well. Asha, you want to say anything?
Sure. Well, thank you everyone for all of these memories that you've shared. We really appreciate everyone's time, and I know it's really late for a lot of you in India. The most notable thing for a daughter to hear about her father are these different sides of him, that he had this whole life before he had me and my sister, that he had all these different sides to him. Unfortunately, you really only hear about these sides of your father after he's passed. But thank you for sharing that he went to lunch with you all, or he had a beer, or he, you know, was really kind and took you out to lunch and dinner and congratulated you on your weddings, because he did all of that for us too. But it's so amazing to hear this different side of him. So thank you very much for sharing all those memories. I do have one picture I want to share with everybody because it is really great. Let me see if I can get it up. So it's right here. Let me see if you guys, I'm just gonna go find this picture real quick. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so this was a picture when, one second, when I was going through a bunch of pictures after my dad passed. My mom gave me this huge box of pictures, and I found this one of him in his lab coat, and I think it's from Northwestern because there's another picture right here, and I think if you look really closely, it may say NU on his badge, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is just, I've never seen this picture, and it's such a lovely picture, and I think it really, first of all, it shows him how handsome he was, and just him in his lab coat, you know. So my sister and I were saying that we want to frame this and put this in our office.
Thank you, Asha, for saying those wonderful pictures. Very handsome, indeed.
Yeah.
Shambat.
Yeah, I think, you know, since Shashidhar Rao is not there, we will, you know, wind up now. As you all talking about Thimmappayya, he's a wonderful scientist, and everything above all, he's such a wonderful human being. That is a very, very important thing, you know, that. So
I think Suraj wants to say something.
Yeah, Suraj and Sushil, we should have.
Yes, Rama, Asha, and Deepa. I don't know whether you remember your visit to Los Angeles. That was in the last century. I just want to tell you that you are all in our thoughts and in our prayers. And I think Sushil, Srivatsan, George, Rajan, Ranganathan, Sitaraman, these are the faces I recognize on the face, and Salim. I think we should all heed what Kalyan Raman said. It's very important because, as you can see, I have seen Thimmappayya only once in Los Angeles. That was last century. We get so caught up in everyday life, our research, our grants, our life is so focused and not, I think, a real normal life. We have to heed what Kalyan Raman has finally got to understand. and ask the question, what can I do during this very little short time I have? And we must focus on our friends, on all of you here. I have been on this forum now after a very long time. I think we should try to develop means of more communication, means of seeing each other more. Remember, we have very limited time left for us here. So science, of course, got us here. Science was our whole universe, but there is a bigger universe that needs to be attended to. I want to, if I continue, I'm going to get emotional because we have spent, all of us, tremendous amount of time with Thimmappayya, coffees, at the institute. We have gone to restaurants, drank beer. We went in the middle of the night, and I just simply want to say I was playing with my keys all the time, which I always lose, but I really don't lose them. I really get them back eventually. And the key got stuck in the tree on the road. And we didn't have time. We wanted to go to the restaurant. They told me, forget it, let's go and have some beer. And then we worked with getting the keys after we came back at 2 o'clock in the night. But I think at this age, I am very fortunate and very, very, very lucky to have been at IISc and to have met you all, to have been one amongst you. That is a privilege. And that's going to keep me for the rest of my time here. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Suraj. It was very nice to say some of those words about the friends, because you need the friends at this time.
Exactly.
And also, Suraj, people should take Suraj's words and attend this meeting every month.
Yes, yes, yes.
Amisha, can I say a few words?
Sure, go ahead, Deva.
Well, again, I don't know how to start. You know, we were together from 1969 to 75. We already heard from Salim about molecular biology. We did a lot of things together. It's just fantastic time we had. And then I came to NIH. Of course, I went to Yale, but we were still in touch. And then I came to Chicago, and that was in '83. And we were so much in contact with Rama, and we saw birthdays of Deepa, and I said, we had so much time together. We were so close. But I regret that we did not really continue over last decade or so, and we did not really have much contact. But I still miss him a lot. And I remember the days when my wife was doing her residency at Loyola, and she stayed with Rama, you, and Tim, and that was a great time. We had really good time, and I always remember that, his kindness and his, of course, everybody has covered his science and so on, but from the personal point of view, it's really was amazing to really know him. It's unfortunate that I could not really even attend his funeral because I was in India, and I came to know about it. But I'm so sorry that he's not with us, and I did not really get a chance to say thanks for everything what he did for us. And Rama, and I'm with you. You know, I'm sorry that I could not really be with you when probably I should have been. But please accept our condolences, and hopefully good memories will take you through this very difficult time. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Thimmappayya, we were all, Salim touched on it, we were around 25 people, and Thimmappayya was always cheerful in the institute. We had our podiatrics lab converted into a Bajji lab and Bonda lab. And then, like he said, Suraj said, after all of that, the night time we used to go to movies, in faraway place, Lido's Theater, everywhere else. It was wonderful. Thimmappayya was always cheerful. One of the things is, I mean, whatever is said and done, people like me and Suraj still, we think and breathe science, and Salim too, because it's very important. Science is where we are. And Thimmappayya gave me the name Pseudo U, because I used to have, because he was working on tRNA, and I used to have my namam. And now I'm not taking a bath, otherwise I will have a namam. He always called me Pseudo U. So it's very interesting. So how it's stuck. Everybody knows about it. Because a long time ago, when tRNA was just a baby, he already
Pseudo-uridine.
he connected
Pseudo-uridine,
it
for
already.
some of you, we know what he is talking
Yeah,
about.
sort of for a PhD. I mean, science people know. It's amazing how he connected it because he was working in Chiray's lab. So I really thank everybody who have been remembering. It's a great, long time ago. As I said, so long time ago, they visited us. My wife only reminded me. But Rama and the children, Asha and Deepa, I think they were very young children. They were here with Suraj and then they came to our house.
Yeah.
So we don't even be in touch with him so much. Really appreciate. And I think we had to celebrate. The more important thing is we always say condolences, everything else. I think we had to celebrate. And this is one of the best ways to do it more than anything else, because we have in our culture 12 days and then 13th day you again celebrate, which is true in other cultures too. So I think it's wonderful to remember Thimmappayya. Thank you very much for all of you to bring back memories of great Thimmappayya to us. Thank you very much.
Can I say a few words?
May I say a few words?
Go ahead, Madhuraj.
Madhuraj, yes.
I'm Madhuraj. I was in 71 in the institute. I was at the fringe of biochemistry because I was in the endocrinology. I'm not a biochemist by undergrad training, but I was in Modgul's lab. But I knew Thimmappayya, and as my recollection was like you all said, how handsome he was. He was a very nice young man. And also I knew Krishnan. I believe was Dr. Apajala's first student, and I knew Krishnan very well, and I got to serve with him on one of his committees for a while. And of course, it's nice to see Sankaran, Kalyan Raman, everybody here. We used to call Kali, for Kali, Kalyan Raman. And my heart really goes out to both the families of Thimmappayya and Krishnan. I still remember we went and had a very nice evening at dinner with Krishnan and Lakshmi when they were in Germantown. I think they had an apartment, nice apartment. We spent an evening. I still remember that. And I really appreciate the wise words of Kali Kalyan Raman. We all have to think what we are going to be after our scientific life is over. It's a thought to ruminate upon. But it's good to see you all, and I hope we had met under more pleasant circumstances. But my heart goes out to both the families, and all the best to the young children of Thimmappayya. It's good to see that the next generation is coming up. Thank you very much.
Can I
Thank
just
you,
say a few
Madhuraj.
words about Thimmappayya?
Pardon?
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Kishore.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for, first of all for organizing this event. Ramesh and Subbarao, thank you. You started this a few years ago to bring us all together. And I remember at that time, the intent was to connect people in their twilight years and to provide that continuity to the ones who are not there yet. So this has served that purpose extremely well. And much has been said about both Thimmappayya and Krishnan. I knew both of them, but not very well. My interaction with them actually ceased the day they left the institute, because they left the institute before I did. But hearing the stories about them today makes me wonder why we don't celebrate the lives of people when they're actually around.
Yeah.
It's certainly important that we celebrate their lives when they are passed, but they actually make contributions to our lives in so many different ways. Celebrating that and having the opportunity to thank them actually provides a good closure even when people are around. And I request that we all consider that possibility. People have talked about who we are and why we are here beyond our scientific career. Actually, that should be a part of our education and a part of our life, even when we are active. And I request you to pay attention to how you want to conduct your life, whether it is in your twilight years, whether it is at active stages of your career, because this is a continuum. We all, as somebody said, we come with an expiration date, the day we are born. And it is what we do in that interim between the day we are born and our expiration date that gives us an opportunity to contribute, and also, of course, to create a legacy which goes beyond our expiration date. And I think if we can pay attention to that, even in our busy lives that Suraj alluded to, because from morning to evening, it's about what we can achieve during the day. There is no context for that continuum, which if we were to provide as a framework for all our decisions regarding how we invest our time, I think it will serve us well. My sincere condolences to the families of both Thimmappayya and Krishnan, and also may their souls rest in peace. But there should be a lesson that their lives teach us, which we can use to make our own interactions better and make the world a better place. So let this serve actually as a catalyst for that process. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Kishore. If anybody else?
And then when
Yeah.
Natarajan, is he there?
Yes.
Can you say, you wanted to say a few words and I would like you to say.
Yeah. We wanted to say, I know Thimmappayya very briefly when I was at UConn, but I know Krishnan very well because we lived in the same neighborhood years ago in the 1980s when we came to as a postdoc, and he was already established at NIH, and we were 7 or 8 of us together in different apartments, and Krishnan was, we meet him once in a while. He will pass by just smiling. We never talk to each other. But years later, my wife and Lakshmi Krishnan, they worked in the same job, similar jobs. So they become friends. And then Krishnan and I, we also become family friends. So we used to meet each other's house, and we used to celebrate, different things in life. And we also watched a lot of football. Surprisingly, Krishnan was a Cowboys fan, and he was always, even though we lived in Washington, D.C., he was sort of a Cowboys fan and rooting for Cowboys all the time. And we miss him, and he was a very, very optimistic person, even though he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. He kept his faith, and he was very hopeful that he will come out of it. And unfortunately, he lost the battle. And he was very warm and friendly, and we miss him. And we wanted to wish Lakshmi Krishnan all the best to face the world alone and deal with all the issues he has to. And with that, I want to conclude saying thanks to everybody, and wish the best for both Thimmappayya's families and Krishnan's family. Thank you.
Thank you, Natarajan.
Could I say a few words?
If anybody else wants to say anything, please go ahead, and we still have a few more minutes.
Just few words. I'm Vipin Chaturvedi. Just wanted to share a little incident for Rama and Deepa about your father. just a brief introduction. I was much junior to him. Just once I went, I think 35 years back, I was invited to give a talk at Northwestern and visited his department as a recruitment there in his department. And that morning, for some reason, I had an allergic reaction. So the person was supposed to take me for breakfast in the morning, and he came and called the phone, and I was still sleeping, and with my face swollen. And anyway, then I happened to meet meet later on actually with Thimmappayya briefly, and I mentioned to him, and it was so kind of him. He not only really briefed me about the politics of the microbiology immunology department at Northwestern, but also he was so kind that he called me like 2 or 3 times and got anti-allergic medicine for me, and then really followed it up. And so just that brief meeting, and then really calling me even in the evening time and briefing me about all the politics and everything in the department. But again, really concerned about the allergic reaction that I had from something in the hotel. Was very, very kind, and then really continued to talk briefly, a few times. So he was, to me, really this brief interaction. Sometimes really you don't need to meet very long time for somebody to really know that he was such a kind and gentle human being. I didn't know really much about his science other than his publications, but obviously that everybody has shared. But what really also I want to say, what made me think with what Professor Somsundran said right now about our goal of life. And one of the poet in Hindi, Surdas ji, says too, and also Tulsidas ji, "Aballo nasani abna nasai ho." And ab mein nacho bahut gopal, really. We really get caught up, as Suraj and others said, really, in our science, that we forget the goal of life. And I think having this great Indian heritage, I think we should all really contemplate, instead of really contemplating when our senses are really weak, contemplate early on that Gyan and Vigyan, the spiritual science, the material science, and who we are really, and what we can do for the community and the world really together, what we can really do together. And again, in a celebratory mood, really, that we are part and parcel of something much bigger consciousness, really, that we can really come together and really share and celebrate and help and regenerate ourselves, really, as this continuum of life. I think we can really create something absolutely wonderful for not only ourselves, for our family, but our community and the world in general, for the humanity, really. I think this COVID has told us that a lot of contemplation I'm here at UCSD among the faculty, people really share their values and what they're missing in life. And as what we discussed just now, this is exactly we're missing. What is the meaning of life, really? And I think this deep knowledge that we have, that our heritage gives us, we must share really with everybody else, with ourselves, contemplate, do nididhyasan, really, live that way. And that really makes us strong, both actually physically, mentally, spiritually, and the family as well. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and obviously sincere condolences, and let us celebrate Thimmappayya and others among our family together as a whole. And IISc gives us this great family. So so fortunate to be part of this family. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipin. Yeah, I want to say that, we got a few messages, condolence messages. One is from M.R. Lakshmanan for Krishnan. And then there's another one from Muralidhar. So they could not join this meeting. And I'll just read one sentence which Muralidhar said at the end. Only remaining friends and memories reduce the sorrow, not relatives. So I think friends are very important.
Very important.
We definitely, are able to get a lot of friends today for this meeting. Thank you all for joining for this, celebration of life of two of our best friends. Thank you.
And
Anything
also
else,
with the-
Shama, Ramesh, you can,
Yeah.
go ahead.
With the announcement of Thimmappayya's passing away, there are a number of condolence messages that was received. I've compiled all of them and have sent it to Shambat. Shambat, please share with Thimmappayya's family. And
Okay.
with that, and if anybody wants to add few words, either to Thimmappayya's memorial or Krishnan's, please do so. Otherwise, we will end this session. Shashdar Rao, are you still here? He's not here. Okay, Shambat.
Okay, thank you. Before concluding, I want to express my sincere thanks to.
I think Mrinalini was going to say something.
Meena?
Yeah, I just want to say one quick thing. I put it in the chat as well. I think the legacy of Thimmappayya's and Krishnan's lives is we need to keep their kindnesses in our focus and let us move forward with that in terms of our interactions. I wanted to especially thank Ramesha and Subbarao for gathering us all together and for keeping this group going. And personally, I have known Thimmappayya since I was a one-year diploma student in IISc, and through our interactions in the Chicago area, he was a very kind, brilliant scientist, a very kind man, and he was very supportive of IISc AANA's activities in the area. So I really appreciate that, and he'll be deeply missed.
Thank you, Meena Rao. Shambat, you want to conclude the...
Yeah, before concluding, I want to express my sincere thanks to all who spoke about Professor Thimmappayya and also Krishnan. I also thank Ramesha and Subbarao for organizing the memorial meet and giving me an opportunity to host this meet. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ramesh and Subbarao. Please keep it on.
Yeah.
Yes, some of us drop off without warning, and I think we should not do that. So I would like to tell all my colleagues to please keep up. I know it is hard, I know, but please keep up. We need to spend this time together as much as we can.
Have you stopped playing with your keys yet?
Yeah,
I'm
trying
the
to
only trouble is, Rajan, the only trouble is the key doesn't come back. Now,
Suraj, I was trying to reach out to a lot of different people. I met H.K. Sharma recently, and then I talked to Sajjan Singh Bajwa. He was asking about Vaikunth Reddy. So people want to meet the people, and this is the best way to meet also. And also know about other people. I think friends are very important at this stage, and we are all reaching a stage where we have to have, friends meeting each other and so on.
Very important.
Thank you.
And also we have this meeting every month on third Saturday morning, 7:30. So if anyone wants to join, please inform them. They get free to join. Open. This forum is open for everybody.
Yeah, one thing about Subbarao, he has been so nice. Besides starting this with Ramesha, he is always calling us and inquiring about everything. Almost every month, Subbarao calls us, and he has visited so many times. It's the other way around. I have not visited him that much. I'm sorry, Subbarao. He is so nice. He is one of those who is keeping up everybody else says what life is about. He is the one, a symbol of what life is about. He always inquires about Suraj and all the other people around when he coming to Los Angeles. Thank you, Subbarao, for the wonderful time you've been giving all of us.
Can I say a few words?
Who is this?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for saying so many good words about Thimmappayya or good memories. It was really, really nice of you to show up and say those, share those good memories with us. And it is really nice to see you, Diware, Bhatt, Suraj, Salim, all these old faces we never met for a long time. It was really, really nice. I think we should do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama.
We will.
Thank you.
If there is no other...
Can I ask, I always saw Thimmappayya, but we are a little overlap. I was in Rameshwaram, I was in molecular biology. I saw him in Steril's lab, molecular biology meetings there, lunch. So, but one person I saw every day when I was there from 73 to 78, he left in 75, I think. He had to pass through the front of my lab every day. and he always had a beard. What happened to his beard when he decided to shed it? It was so, like every day we see at least 5 or 6 times. So always a smile, hi, hi. Then when I go upstairs during the Malayali lunchtime, sometime he comes up and talks. So I have a lot of fond memories about him. But I always saw him with his beard. So from one bearded man to another one who shed his beard, we miss you. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Rajan. So if there are no other comments, additions,
Can I just say something?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to actually. Oh, this.
Prasad, go ahead.
Kalpana, can you mute it?
You're not muted.
I'm
Prasad,
not
we can hear
muted,
you.
but I'm asking Kalpana to mute. We're in the same room.
Oh, okay.
Going. So I this is not about. I mean, I did not know Thimmappayya, but as a virologist, I had followed his work for many years, inspired by his work, starting from when I started my virology, journey back in 1984. But what I wanted to say was that it's great to get all this insight into Dr. Thimmappayya's life and work. But I want to go back to what Kish said, that we memorialize people after their passing, but why don't we actually have these meetings before, when they're alive? So I don't know how to do this, but one idea I have for you to think about is perhaps when one of us retires, from scientific life or academic life. So that may be a good time to have a symposium in their honor. Only 90 minutes is what we do. So their past postdocs and students can give 5-minute talks or 10-minute talks, but we get to know them when they're still here, get to appreciate their work and get to know individuals that have accomplished so much in their life. So I want to actually thank Kish for speaking my mind. I've been thinking about this for a while.
May I just add to that and say, maybe we should consider have a IISc AANA retreat where we can all get together face to face sometime and have a good time and ruminate about all the good times we had, and times are yet to coming also.
Madhuraj, for your information, there is IISc AANA Association throughout the USA, and there are different chapters. They have meeting I think every month or every 2 months. So you can find out what is the close chapter where you live and attend, get to know the people who are part of that chapter.
I know that those meetings physically
we had
being
organized
present.
global conferences in different places, and in Chicago, I think many people. Thimmappayya attended that conference also. So we do have global conference where people from IISc, also many professors come and participate in our conferences. The last conference we had was in 2019. Probably we will have another conference in a couple of years. So we should all try to attend the conference. We had about 300 or 400 alumni coming and attending the conference from all departments, not just biochemistry. Okay, you should try to attend some of these IISc conferences. We will have a national conference either this year or next year, most probably in Seattle. Then we will have one in Atlanta. We had one in Atlanta before. We will try to have it in Washington, D.C. also. We had one before there. 2014, I think we had in Washington, D.C. So we had quite a few biochemistry people attend the meeting in Washington, D.C.
That is all great. I would love to attend it, but if it is so infrequent, it's not going to be an ideal, platform for what Kish and I were suggesting. So I would suggest this Zoom meeting as a place low cost, and more people can attend. No travel involved, and it should be great. Ramesh, you have something to say? You've been smiling the whole time.
No, nothing.
So
we have this meeting every month, third Saturday, and we hardly get people. So I don't know.
Can I suggest something in that regard, just to build on the points Vinayak made? there is no reason for some of these to be organized. You can actually say, there are 3 or 4 people who will actually speak. They are getting to that twilight stage. They want to reminisce about their life, or other people who are in the twilight stage. They want to say a few words of wisdom. There are different ways of approaching the issue. It does not have to be an organized presentation where somebody speaks about their life's work. In fact, C.K. Manjunath talked about his trip, to the Himalayas. And he talked about orchids. So there's absolutely no reason why the topic on hand is about the beautiful scientific work that you did, or the publication in PNAS or any other journal. It is about how we impact each other's lives, how we bring an understanding, and how we bring a sense of values, the little accomplishments that we make. Suraj could speak about what is happening in Los Angeles right now. I am sure Srivatsan, Suraj, and others can talk about the impact on life. I think there are small learnings here which can make us much more grounded and interactive at a humane level.
Yes, yes.
That's how, I think that if I recall, that's how we started during the COVID time.
Exactly.
But it took different size and shape and size and approach. And now I'm really happy to see a lot of people come for both our friends, Thimmappayya and Krishnan. But let's leave the philosophies out and let's talk about real things, real life, real people. Most of us probably, some people cannot wake up at 7:30 in the morning.
7:30 is only for the West Coast, but
I know, but I have 8:30. It's too early.
You don't need to go to work anymore, right?
Thimmappayya has to go to lab at 6:30. I know. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. That's exceptional, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, to extend Kishore's and Prasad's comments, this forum is open. Anybody wants to share their ideas, their thoughts, their life journey. We are open. We are receptive. Feel free to participate.
Yes, I think so. I think it's important. It's very difficult to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can vouch for that. But I think, yes, we should try to attempt and maybe bother your colleagues. Say, hey, come on, I'm going to be attending this. I will be there at 7:30. Are you going to be there tomorrow there? Something like that. I got a call this morning from Srivatsan, but he didn't know that I was already up and I was get the connections going.
Suraj, for you have the option not to attend, but myself and Subrao, we don't have option. We have to get up.
Exactly. That's why we have tremendous appreciation for you guys to persist with it.
Hey, Rajan. Hey, Rajan.
We have been using the same
Suprabhat
link.
is very important. You have to get up early, man. Get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30. Don't get up at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
If you want a different time, we can always choose a different time, and we can use the same link and the same password because we never change it for the last so many years. I book it for 6 months at a time. Every Saturday, 7 to 10. So this link is open all the time, every Saturday. But we are meeting only once a month now. But if you want to meet some other time, we can do it. If it is the evening is convenient, we can do it also. This link is open. This is a paid Zoom, account from IISc AANA.
Yeah, the consideration is to involve some of the colleagues from India. That's the study part of it.
I was just kidding. I haven't seen Sitaramam in such a long time, and it doesn't happen.
We can revolve around, change it, sometimes do it in the evening and sometimes do it in the morning, so that we have this alternative ways of, if you want to get up late in the night at 6:30 in the evening. But the essential part is, I think we all try. We want to be here. But that's fundamental. That's very important. And it's not possible if Ramesh and Subbarao don't have this site here, don't persist with it. I am here after a very long time. I have to confess.
Really?
That's because you people kept it going, no matter what, whether there were only 3 people or 4 people. But let's be done with it. We want to thank you both for having made it possible, and Shamabhat and Rama and Asha and Deepa being here. That was quite remarkable, right? Quite
I
beautiful.
spend your
You
thoughts.
keep thanking them and this will go to their heads. You don't want that. Don't give them head weight.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see Salim for a long time. I think I've seen Salim after a long time.
Yes, exactly. So
one time, I want to just recollect one incident. So I was with a couple of friends in New York. That was probably 76 or so, 76 or 77. And then we were going to United Nations, and somebody suddenly called me, "Hey, Subbarao." He yelled at me. Then I said, looked back, and it was Salim. And he was with Thimmappayya.
Oh,
Remember Salim?
Yeah.
So then I said, he asked me, "Where are you staying?" I said, "No, we don't have a place." Then said, "Come on over, I will give you my address." So we went and stayed in his place. Then Thimmappayya was also there at that time, right? Remember Salim?
Yeah, absolutely. We had great time. It was so spontaneous.
Yeah, my meeting with Salim was on the badminton court. We beat Dash out of every other department. We won the trophy that year.
The champions, yeah.
Yeah, we were the champions.
Hey, Salim used to be our Tendulkar man those days.
I feel
Salim was great.
I feel I am becoming much younger hearing to all of you. I joined institute. My interaction was with my seniors. I don't know whether you have heard of all B.S. Baliga, Surendra Baliga, who used to be with Dr. Vaidyanathan, and then E.G. Srinath, who used to be with Dr. Pillai, and both of them are, no more, I think. And also very recently, sadly, we lost Sitaram Acharya. Sitaram Acharya and myself were roommates in hostel in H1, room H1. And so we had a lot of interaction there with other people in the hostel. So, but it is really nice. You all make me feel younger by hearing to all this chatter and banter,
Madhuraj, you are younger. Age is just a number, right?
And mine is unlisted, they say in that movie, that right?
Okay, guys.
You should not think about the numbers and the age. Just keep doing.
Okay, with that one, let's
You
call
stop
this
recording,
video.
Ramesh.
Huh?
We'll stop recording.
Oh, okay. I haven't stopped. Okay, stop recording.
Okay.